Hey, listeners, before we get started on today's podcast, I just wanted to take a moment and mention today's sponsors. We have two sponsors today that make this podcast possible. So, first off, today's episode is brought to you by Restaurant.com. With Restaurants.com, you can save at thousands of restaurants across the country with just a few clicks. Their dining deals range from $5 to $100, never expire, and cost you a fraction of the face value. Dinner has never been easier with Restaurant.com. Used for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Restaurant.com is offering our listeners 50% off their next purchase by going to www.restaurant.com/podcast. That's www.restaurant.com/podcast for 50% off your next purchase. Restaurant.com is the best deal every meal. And our second sponsor today is the Pretentious Pickle Company, located on 190 Water Street right here in Plymouth. And if you're a pickle fan, you're going to love what they have. They do more than just your standard pickles. They have all sorts of vegetables pickled, everything you can imagine, from pickled green beans to pickled eggs, pickled Brussels sprouts, you name it, they have it pickled. It's all made right there on location by the owner, Lorraine. It's phenomenal stuff. And they also have a lot of locally made products from local farmers and bakers and whatnot. So if you're in Plymouth, make sure you check out the Pretentious Pickle Company on Water Street, or you can also check out the Pretentious Pickle online at www.pretentiouspickle.com, and you can place orders right there on the website. So thank you to our sponsors, and now let's get into the podcast. Welcome back to the Old Colony Cat. No, what the hell is podcast line? Jesus Christ, I do too many of these. Welcome back to the Bar Talk podcast. That's the one we're doing today. I'm here again. Oh, I'm Andy. Oh, no, I'm fucked up completely. I'm Andy of Inebriart, and I'm here today with...
Take two.
All right.
No, keep it going.
Welcome back to the Bar Talk podcast. I'm Andy of Inebriart, and I am joined today with Jess Childers of Mirabeau.
Hello.
Dan Mahoney of Stats.
What's up?
Jordan Chabot of Speedwell.
What up?
Patty of Kogi.
Hi.
Karl Heine of New World Tavern.
Hello, everybody.
We're recording today. And Farmer Dave, local legend of Plato's Harvest.
Hi.
So I think we're just going to do Q&As today. So
hold on, I have a question.
Okay.
This is
Plato's
Q&A.
Harvest. Where did that name come from? What's the background?
Oh, well,
Just
the short background is we had goats when I started the thing. There were
Goats?
Plato and Einstein, yeah.
Aww.
And Einstein's harvest didn't sound right. Because when you come back to the farm, the goats think everything's for them, and they jump up on the fence and scream at you.
What do they say?
I'm not kidding.
They are cute, though.
Do they faint?
They're cute. What?
Are they the fainting goats?
No.
That's unfortunate.
That would be funny.
That'd be great.
What's the fainting goat?
Like when they're startled,
Is
they
it
just
up
fall
Behind them, you
over.
scare them, and they...
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so-
Tip over.
is it a pygmy goat?
Oh, it's hysterical.
It doesn't hurt him or anything either. It's just
Yeah.
a natural thing.
How do you know?
Yeah,
I
it's
just
like a
listened to a
genetic-
podcast about it, actually. I was like, good, something I know a lot about. Let's go.
It doesn't hurt them, but they have to wake up and be like, what a dick.
Not again. It's just like a short-term paralysis.
Speaking
thing,
of animals,
nervous thing.
Jess is a horse person.
Yes.
An equestrian.
Yeah, equestrian. No. No,
Equestrian atrix.
I just...
Jesus Christ.
I do have whips.
Equestrian answer?
I like this. Wow.
Yes, I have a crop and I have an 8-foot lunging whip. But anyway...
got Karl excited.
Used for...
I'm not even sure what we're talking about.
equine training purposes only. Yes, I am a casual horse owner. That is true.
It's a lot of work.
It is. You know, a lot of people are like, how often do you ride? And I'm like barely ever, because really that's like 20% of horse ownership. A lot of it is just like dressing wounds and wiping
Dressing
snot
wounds?
out of their nose. Wounds. They
So it's
play.
like-
they get
it's
a
like
lot of
having a
scratch.
toddler.
Really, yeah, it's like a toddler and a puppy.
So when people
like,
say, "Do you ride a
mishmash.
lot?" you just say, "Nay."
Yes. That's exactly
Oh my god, the dad joke. This is the dad joke episode.
Yeah, so you get it's just to like work in your dad
Oh,
jokes.
don't be a nag.
That's pretty good. Quit messing around.
Oh, boy.
All right, pony up. Let's go.
Welcome to the Bar Talk Podcast. Let's start over.
Yeah, take 3.
Right out of the
Right
gate.
before we start, Carl's like, we're gonna do question and answers, right? I'm like, sure. And then he just,
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
I don't know, you asked it. You stopped me.
Oh, we didn't have a question
No,
yet?
you
No, you started
interrupted.
with Plato's Harvest.
Yeah.
Yes, where the
Oh,
name
yeah,
came
yeah,
from.
yeah. What happened? Oh, there was ghosts and they fainted.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
His ghost did.
You don't have any goat. See, that was the thing. You didn't have
I'm
any-
sorry. What did they say again?
Man! Day drinking's rad, dude.
This is the most nonsensical bar talk episode ever, which is really saying something. All right, this one comes from Edward's Restaurant and Lounge. Anyone sell a ton of wings, Jordan? And always get requests for all flats. We get so many requests that customers that like both drums and flats started asking for flats so they don't get all drums. How do you handle it?
Oh, I got rid of it. We used to do as an option. We didn't have it on our menu originally, but we would do it. No additional charge, anything like that. But then we found that Plymouth dominantly loves flats. So, like you said, at the end of every shift, you ended up with 7 bins of drums and no flats, and it just wasn't fair to the other
And for
people.
the next
who-
week, everyone gets all drums.
Yeah, exactly. So then I did it. I was like, you know what? We reprinted our menu. I'm like, I'm going to charge a convenience charge for this. So if you want all flats, it costs you an extra $1.50 per 10 wings. Did that, and it got worse. It wasn't worth the $1.50.
because it was on the menu?
Now it's on the menu. So people, it was like, oh, well, I'm paying for it, so I'm not inconveniencing them. That's my... And I had to immediately reprint the menu like 3 months later because it just became such an friggin' ass ache. We were like, can we make chicken wing soup with all these drums? Like, so now I just say we can't do it. I'm sorry. There are a couple of regulars that come in twice a week. They have since we've opened. They order the same exact thing, and I will do it for them, and I will do it for them only. Them and my wife. That's pretty much it. So don't try.
Yeah.
Well, your wife, like half the wings are hers anyways, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, 5% of them.
Patty, how common is that in a Korean barbecue restaurant that people would ask for just flat wings?
People ask, and I tell them no.
But is it a lot? I mean, do people?
People
how often
ask.
is it?
People do ask, yeah.
I miss your wings. I haven't had them in a long
Aw.
time.
That never even
They're the
occurred to
best.
me like as something to do.
No, me neither.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm kind of
No,
surprised.
people used to, back in the day, I used to work for Karl, in case anyone didn't know that.
in the good old days when
Yeah,
she,
the
when
she
she
somehow
was happy at her
survived.
job.
And
I
you can
did.
still be side by side in the same room. That's amazing.
I love Karl's my favorite owner.
Thank you.
Why did
Yeah,
he just
we-
give you $20?
Hold on.
Just sliding gas across the
Karl's wonderful. He's wearing a very lovely Hawaiian shirt today. But so back in the day when I worked here, we did do a lot of wings also, and we did get requests for that, and I would say no. And then down the road, I don't do chicken wings anymore, but I do duck drumettes, and there's no flats,
so good.
so there can never be a request like that.
You did those here. I remember.
Yeah, I think it is.
Cranberry buffalo ones. Or
No, it was the kabiyaki glaze? I think
Yes.
Johnny Sheehan started that. I think, but that's going back a couple years, so my memory's a little fuzzy. But yeah, I do them now at Mirabeau.
Do you guys get a lot of other like weird requests, like off menu
Yes.
shit?
oh yeah,
I do.
my whole
Yeah.
every day.
I'm like
Yeah.
$25 my cheapest.
Yeah,
And you said you weren't using the back room.
I remember the day we announced, like on Facebook, because it was becoming such a problem. Miss people. We're mainly a wing place, so that's why. But I posted a picture of a chicken with nothing but like flats. So it was like a laboratory bred chicken. It was pretty frightening. But I was like, until chickens look like this, we can no longer offer all flats. It was pretty gross.
I like that your posts always have a sense of humor in them. So it's like here's like a flat no. No pun intended.
Good The dad jokes continue.
That wasn't even on purpose. But no, I like that you like finesse like some humor in so that it's like they're like, haha, all right.
Yeah, right.
It is a lot easier to take like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Soften the blow a
Yeah.
little bit. Be
Yeah.
like self-deprecating and kind of like, hey, we're not perfect, but sorry, we're still not doing that.
Please
for
stop
you.
being extra.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You do wings too at Stats, right?
We do more boneless.
Boneless, yeah.
Ah.
Do you consider bonus actually wings?
Do you
Are
do
they
a lot
just
of flat
tenders?
boneless
Tenders.
ones?
You just pound them out.
I'll step on them.
There's that new trend on Facebook with people gripping food tightly. Have you seen that? It's amazing. Follow it. So there's a Facebook page and it's on
That's
Instagram.
not food.
It's just called
Wait.
People Gripping Food Tightly. So you take a picture of yourself holding something like a hot dog,
Yeah.
and then in the second frame, it's just them squeezing the shit out of that hot dog.
Hold on,
So
it's on
give it a
Instagram,
shot.
you
That
said?
reminds me of your flat boneless wings. There you go.
But do you get a lot of like off menu requests and like? Is
Oh,
there
for
a
sure.
specific one
I
that
can't
you-
think of anything
Yeah.
that's a repeat, but
Is it with force?
if people can think
With
of it,
force,
they'll
that's
ask
what
it.
it is.
Gripping things with force.
Gripping food with force.
Gripping food with force.
Yeah, like they'll just have like an ice cream or a jar of peanut butter or
Oh.
yeah, a steak, like a perfectly cooked like $50 steak, and the guy's just holding it in his hand, and then in the next frame he's squeezing the shit out of it. It's the most absurd. Like the internet has become so ridiculous
Kind
because
of
of
like
shit
oddly
posting.
satisfying.
Carl's looking at it like I'm so upset right now.
Oh, it is a waste of good food.
It
though.
is.
Are
That
they
kind
eating
of makes
this
it funny.
after?
I don't know.
Oh.
Probably. I bet a few people have eaten it after.
That's awesome.
All right, next question.
Okay. Samantha Best. Do you allow adults clearly over 21 to order from your kids' menu? I was in an awkward dilemma tonight, and do you give in and say only one time? Like, what's the issue with someone?
Does anyone else here have a kids menu?
Nope.
I've got kids items, not really a kids menu, but I got kids items. But no, I won't let them order.
Yeah, we have a
I won't.
secret.
That doesn't mean when I leave, the staff doesn't cave in. But no, if somebody comes in and they're, 22, 23 years old and they just want something cheap and they're like, can I get the kids grilled chicken? No, you can't. That's for 10 and under.
I have a counter on that. I used to be the same exact way as you, but then COVID happened and people had to eat to drink at my bar.
Yep.
So if they look at my kids' menu and they want something for $5 so they can drink 12,
But we've
12
got those
13
items.
beers.
We've got those items now.
Right.
Yeah.
But originally, it was the same thing as Karl. Like, I would, if a waitress asked me, I'd be like, no, now they don't even ask me.
Right.
Now
So-
they'll just be like, I got a kid's tender. I worked the kitchen yesterday. I got a kid's tender, which is like 3 chicken tenders and fries, which is the same exact thing as our regular tenders. We're not using like a cheaper thing for the kids. And people started catching on that, like, wow, I can, instead of getting 5 tenders, I can just get 3 tenders and a side of fries, and I'm paying $2 less.
Why would you only
But
want
aren't you
3
getting-
tenders though?
Yeah.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right, but aren't you getting
Five's not
less
even
food?
I noticed it yesterday. You are
3
getting a
flats.
little. You're getting about the same amount of food for, like, I mean, you're getting 2 less tenders, but you're getting a side of fries and a side of barbecue sauce. So people started catching on that, like people watching football and stuff. And I had a couple yesterday. I'm like, these aren't for kids, are they? Because I don't see any kids out there. And she's like, no. I'm like, whatever, dude. You're already ringing in, but
What we did is we took our kids menu off the menu. But if people ask, we say, oh yeah, we have a kids menu. This is what we offer.
smart.
Yeah, we do
So
that
people
too.
people don't see it and don't read it to say,
Right.
oh, I'm going to get a kids menu. But if
Yeah.
the kids are in there and people says, hey, can I, you have a kids menu? Yeah, we can do a kids burger or
Right. Anytime you're like telling a guest, like, no, you can't do that, like, you're ruining kind of the experience. Like the servers, I can get why they're like, if they're spending money, I'm just gonna ring it in. I'm not gonna like
Right.
tell them they have to order a half pound of tenders instead of the kids' meal. Like whatever. Like I got 3 other tables I got to worry about right now.
But
I'm
now
not
they're
doing
getting
this.
braver because you have to say you have to wear a mask. So
Right.
you can't order that.
Yeah, a little bit. A couple of them.
Well, whatever happened like to people just ordering off the menu?
I don't know. I don't.
Oh yeah,
Right.
well, was that the question?
It was a kids menu thing, but I think in general,
But in gen-
Jess has got a point.
Yeah, it's like everyone, it's like create your own dish. And it's like, no, the dishes that we come up with are like very thoughtfully prepared.
Right.
I mean, well, I understand, if somebody really, really hates something, if they're like, I really hate blue cheese, it's going to ruin my night. Of course, we'll
Right.
Well, yeah, or
Cilantro. There's
allergies,
variations on
cilantro.
what you
Yeah,
add
some
it
people
for.
have that genetic thing where it tastes
Yep.
like soap. Like, we get it. Just don't tell us you have an allergy when you don't.
Oh,
Oh, we've done that 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The allergy to
I
lettuce.
guess-
It's a lot of dietitian shit too in
not to
there.
go,
Oh,
not to go
paleo,
into a different
keto.
conversation, but I get a lot of gluten free.
Yep.
that want the gluten-free bread and this and that, and they get an Allagash white wheat beer, and they say to me, "Oh, the beer doesn't bother me, just the food."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're not so careful.
We had someone that was vegan, and they were eating a popover, which is made with milk and eggs and butter. And they're, well, this is okay. Well, then you're not vegan.
Yep. We've had vegan people come in here and
You're
say,
just
"The
an
flour's
asshole."
vegan." I'm like, no, because they have a coating of blah, blah, blah. And they're
Yeah.
like, that's all right. I like them.
No, but yeah, the
Well,
people.
why did you ask that? Just
I
get the
get
flour.
this every day.
I know. You guys have so much. I have like a very not a limited menu, but my menu is very basic. You guys use so many different ingredients
Yeah.
that I can't even imagine what you deal with. Sushi, like, oh
Well,
my
yeah, because
god.
if you take one thing away from that, it just ruins the dish. And then, I mean, we've had instances where somebody totally deconstructed a dish, and then they complained, and they were like, "That dish sucked." And it's like, yeah, it sucked because you totally,
apart.
Right.
yeah. If you just got it the way it was, I guarantee you would have loved it. But it's like people don't want to try new things. But then on the other hand, we also have a lot of very adventurous clients or diners, and so that's really cool too. So it's like
That's the fun part.
But then again, I don't know what makes the culture so like, well, I'm paying for it, so I'm gonna just totally order something that's not on the menu. And then, they put the server in a predicament where, like, obviously we're gonna try to tell the server to tell them no, because even if we have all the ingredients in-house to make it, maybe one thing's in dry storage, maybe one thing's in the walk-in, and another thing's in the freezer, and another
Or maybe
thing's
that ingredient
in the
is
loaf.
in the sauce. Or
Yeah.
Right, it's already there. Like, we can't do
Yeah,
that.
we've had people that have had, they don't like garlic and they don't like onions. It's like, well, you're at a restaurant and that's like,
In
everything, yes.
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
You having a gin and tonic?
Oh my gosh. We had somebody that had like
Here's
a
a bloody bulldog.
we had somebody that had a legit allium allergy, and I felt so bad because I was like, this person literally can only get like a salad with grilled chicken and like oil and vinegar on the side because everything else, I mean, we're.
But they know that going
Yeah,
into
I feel like if
restaurant.
your
I don't.
allergy
Do
is
they though? Because
Like,
it
if they
didn't
don't,
seem like
I
it.
think if you have a legit allergy,
Yeah.
you go into places knowing that you're the one who's going to have to kind of be flexible.
Got peanut allergy.
Oh, that's
and-
hard.
Or you get the people that call before and say
Yes.
this and
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
I
That's
like that
excellent.
too.
Yeah.
And it sucks
That's
for them that
very
they have to
helpful.
do that, but yes, it is very
And I'm
helpful.
okay saying
Yeah.
no, even though we might be able to do it, but I'm a little weary of our ability in the kitchen maybe on a busy Saturday night.
Yeah,
And I'm
maybe
like,
if-
you know what? It's probably not the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say no. We probably would be able to do it, but to be safe, I'm going to say no.
Or maybe a couple days in advance. Have you ever had someone that had the business card because they had so many allergies?
Yeah.
It would be awesome if those people could call like 2 days in advance and we can actually have something like safely prepped because that's scary for us too.
Right,
'Cause It's
yep.
like they're like, here's my life, like right in your hand.
My friend, my wife's best friend has a
I knew
lot
it
of
wasn't your
allergies.
friend.
Yeah, has a lot of allergies, and she
You're his friend?
has a card, and
Yeah.
she's really good about it. Like, she'll bring her own salad dressing, which is completely fine, and like she eats at Speedwell all the time. But she has that card, and she will call like a place ahead of time. She'll only dine at certain places, and we'll
Yeah.
call ahead of time. She's one of the good ones. There are a lot of people that want to put their burden on you, and it sucks that they have that burden, but it's not our fault either.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I'm
know?
totally sympathetic, but at the same time, it's like
It's okay
want
to say
to
no.
make sure that their
Right.
food is as safe as we can possibly make
I mean,
it.
I've had people on diet restrictions that came in and wanted a glass of vodka because they brought their own diet ginger ale because they couldn't have the sugar that's in a ginger ale. I'm like, hey, here's
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just don't be a dick.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just be,
Do a little research.
there you go. We can't adult for you all the time.
Yeah.
We try though.
We do
We
try.
do our best.
That is our job.
I did have a woman come in the other
Hospitality
day
is
at
our
the beer cellar asking about gluten-free beer, and when we didn't have any, she just bought a bunch of regular beer. You're like, all right.
Well, isn't it that most of the gluten or like all but like a super minute amount is lost within the fermentation process anyway?
I don't know.
On liquor.
Liquor, okay,
Oh,
not
not
beer.
beer.
I was gonna
Okay,
On the liquor.
Distillation process.
yeah.
All right, Douglas Brackett. See, I can get all these.
You're doing very well.
Thank you, thank you.
You chose well today.
What are must-ask interview questions, and what must the applicant answer correctly?
Ooh.
All right, Patty, this one's all yours.
Yeah.
What do you ask your people when they
I-
come in for an interview?
I'm horrible with those. I usually have my husband do them. Is that I'm like,
Oh, and by the way, where is your husband?
he went to go get inventory.
I was doing inventory. I had to do it twice today. No excuse to yet. That's why I don't play wiffle ball, because, you know, you just never know when this guy's going to show up.
Anyway,
You're just scared to get beat by.
He's really good.
so interview questions. What do you
Interview
ask?
questions.
I can tell you what you shouldn't ask because they keep telling me when I ask them.
I just,
Can we cut off their mic?
I honestly just go like, oh, okay. When can you work? That's it. I just grab who I can. Is you know the vibe they give me. As soon as I don't care about.
Yeah, you
anything
know
else.
as soon as somebody walks in, whether they're
Yeah, good. First, are they on time? Okay, there's
Yep.
one.
how are they dressed.
Yeah, that doesn't
I'm not
matter
sa-
too much.
No,
to me.
I'm not saying they have to be dressed up. But if somebody comes in a ripped T-shirt and
Oh,
ripped
yeah.
pants,
Slept
and,
in their car.
you know, it looks like they were just walking around the neighborhood all day. Maybe that's not the person you want working for you.
Right.
But if they at least try, then I'm like, okay, he's interested in working here. Not just I had 42 interviews today and just one of them.
Yep.
Yep.
Here's my concert T-shirt. You know, the Who.
Why do you want to work here? That's the one I always ask. Why do you want to work here? And you just get the whole story after that. And then I ask them what their favorite movie is, and if it's not Tommy Boy, they don't get the job.
Jess, do you do any of the interviews?
Yeah, I mean, our kitchen is not an entry level kitchen at all. So I do have to ask, like, background, where have you worked before? I mean, I don't really care if someone's gone to, you know, culinary school or not, but, you know, they have to at least have, you know, a decent background. And, you know, if I ask them to tell me what's an emulsification,
Right.
Oh man, have you gotten any like crazy answers?
no, they'll either be like,
Emulsification, that's when you multiply 2 and
Yeah.
3.
or I'll ask them.
2 marriage proposals?
Yeah. I'll ask them, you know, what's your favorite thing to cook? Why do you like cooking? You know, because although we're not an entry level kitchen, if somebody has the right attitude and they learn fast and they think quick on their feet, then a lot of things can be taught.
But you, Dan, you
try to, like, more than questions, just strike up a conversation with them,
Yeah.
especially for the position you're interviewing for.
Yeah.
You want to get a feel for if they can actually be a social person, especially where, like we are, where you're going to be dealing with the public on a large scale. So
I feel like that's super important for a bartender.
bartender, door person,
Yeah.
waitress, anything, host. Like, you got to kind of get a
We call
feel.
them servers, not waitresses.
Sorry. Servers,
Sort of Mr.
servitors.
PC principal over here.
know,
dude. What
yeah.
the hell fuck did that happen?
So that's the bigger
Let's talk
thing
about
then.
gluten allergies.
Yikes.
So yeah,
Huh?
conversation.
Mark Rogers, how do you handle counting cash in drawers? We had a set amount, and they have to have that at open and when they leave. Takes them about 20 minutes each to count bills and change, so I'm losing like 40 minutes per server per shift on my dime. My opinion is if it's something you're requiring them to do, then of course it's on your dime.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't it be?
Bingo.
I mean,
I have everyone self-bank at my place. So you at the end of the night, it'll show, like, do you owe the house or the house owes you?
Right, but where do you start in the drawers, I think is the question.
Yeah, but, like, the drawer is
if
going to
you-
be,
If you have $300 in the drawer,
it should be 300 because
Right,
no
but
one's
that-
really touching it.
right,
Right.
but they should confirm that it's 300 so that you call, contact at the end of the night and say, hey, there's only 200 in there. They're like, well, it was 300 when I started.
I mean, no, but no one's literally touching the drawer. It shouldn't be hard. It's like, it's going to be,
Not even the bartenders?
No, the bartender's self-bank too.
Really?
Yeah, only takeout, but still, it doesn't take long.
Right.
Because it's only one person's accountable. Everyone goes home.
yeah,
so
that was a question.
they're paying
counting,
somebody
counting a drawer full-
$3.95 an hour and it's taking 20 minutes to do it and he's complaining that he has got to pay for that?
Yeah, like I don't.
So it's $1.23.
$1.33.
Yeah.
My math was wrong. I didn't carry the one.
I don't know that place is going to last very long. If you're looking at it like that, then I don't know, you got to value your time differently, I guess.
Right. And who, like 20 minutes to count a drawer?
Shouldn't
I
take
mean,
long.
like
There might have been a lot of pennies.
5, maybe. But
Maybe
still.
someone was talking to him and he had to start all over.
Oh,
again.
yeah, well, stop talking to the guy while he's trying to count him. Being like, I'm paying you to do this.
20 minutes sounds like a little bit of an exaggeration as well.
Yeah.
To make the question seem a little bit more valid.
Yeah.
But
Because I also feel like if that's the guy who's like, I'm paying you to count that drawer, you're like, 1 penny,
Yeah.
Yep.
2 penny.
Don't empty as many coin rolls.
Yeah, don't be such a dick. Just let the guy count the drawer.
Yeah.
Casey Jones.
From Ninja Turtles?
Sure.
I hope so.
Had an
coming around the
offer.
track.
Had an offer to buy my restaurant and trying to figure out what it's worth. Do I factor in the build out I did?
Yeah. You factor in the build out, right? I mean,
You factor
Yeah.
everything in the world.
Everything.
If you're selling, if
Time.
someone wants to buy it.
absolutely.
No, did he see he had an opportunity to buy it or to sell?
He had an offer. Someone offered to buy his restaurant.
Yeah,
So
factor in.
How would you estimate the worth of
Well,
your business?
you can estimate any way you want.
Yeah.
It's all depends on how much that person actually wants to pay, and if is that pay worth you paying off your bills and taking some to the side? Is it worth it for you?
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what your build out was. Doesn't matter all that stuff. The bottom line is that enough money
It's
for
gonna
you to
make
sell
you
the
happy,
business?
right?
Yeah.
Would
I-
you be?
And maybe he's willing to get out. Maybe he just wants to get out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a losing bar. Maybe they're losing money.
Right. Or maybe he's just tired.
Maybe he's tired. Maybe
Yeah.
his wife's giving him a hard time.
Right.
Why would
They
you
don't
be?
want to make
Why would you be
ramen
tired
Sound like
working in the
George
restaurant?
Costanza doing the pretzels making me
It's the most
thirsty.
relaxing
right?
field you can be in.
Pretzels are making me thirsty. Maybe he's parking
So I
cars
think
outside.
the selling price of a business is only what you want to sell it for. I don't think all the
He's worried about underselling himself, though,
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
well,
That's what
don't-
it sounds like.
You always go a little bit higher, as
Right.
with anything, a car or whatever.
Yep.
Go a little bit higher than what you
horse.
expect to get a horse. Yeah, I talked down my first horse, and then this horse I just paid flat
talk
out.
down your first horse.
Yeah.
Step away from the ledge.
But yeah, anything that you're trying to sell, and this is something that my dad told me, always ask for more than what you think you're going to get because they're always going to counter offer lower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if this person was approached. He wasn't trying to sell his bar. Someone
Yeah.
approached him and was like, yo, you selling this? Like,
Yeah,
okay, so
they're-
you
Can you
already in a
imagine-
position of
they're-
advantage.
Imagine if
Yeah.
somebody came up and you said, I want X for my business. And they said, okay, I'll give it to you. You'd be like,
Oh,
Why didn't I
shit.
ask for
Yeah, exactly. And just say, make me an offer.
Right.
But it is up to him to sort of value. And don't be humble, man. Like,
Yeah.
you worked your ass off to get the place where someone's interested enough in it to buy it. They see some sort of potential in it that maybe you don't. So make up for that, too.
Now, would you consider a difference in price? So if I came to Jordan and said, I want to buy the Speedwell, would I get a difference price if I'm like, I'm going to keep it the Speedwell or change it to
Oh, he wants a friend
Andy's
discount, Jordan.
Bar-O-Rama? Like, does the name factor into?
I think
good
it all
question.
depends on the contract that you do. So if you're going to keep it, the Speedwell Tavern,
Yeah.
the name,
Yeah.
that's a whole different vibe of just buying the business. If I ever sold my business, I would not want them to use the same name because down the road, 2, 3, 4 years, if something happens to that business and either it goes under or they get bad reviews or whatever, the people that have been there and that have been your clientele are always going to think that you're involved.
Correct.
In this business. So if something happens and I don't know, COVID breaks out at a restaurant, they're going to say, Karl's a restaurant.
Oh, isn't that Karl Heine's place?
Right.
Yeah.
They're always going to say that. So if you're going to sell a restaurant, have them make it be their own thing. And we're talking about sole owner, one person,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
person. Never sell your name because you might want to open up 2 years later at 2 towns down and use that same name because you're going to get that goodwill that they say, oh, Speedwell just opened up, 2 towns over.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can use that goodwill when you sell a business. You can keep it for yourself.
What's your brand too that you built up?
Right.
Yep.
So
There's
Whether,
value to
whether or
that.
not that person's going to keep the same
And
menu, same they can keep
Staff,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
And I suppose situations vary because friend of the show, Union Brewhouse, they kept the name.
Yeah.
But even I'm blanking on his name, the dude who used to own it.
Tom Powers.
Yeah, he still works there and still involved. So I mean,
I don't think anymore since COVID, but yeah,
Yeah.
after they sold it, he was still involved with it, and he was still the face of that.
Right.
People don't know he sold it.
right.
He's managing it. People expect that when they go in, they're going to see him, or if something happens, that it's his business.
If you sold your businesses in Jessica, you sold Mirabeau. I know when friend of the show, who I'm not going to mention by name because we got a lot of shit from his wife for mentioning him, like feeding his ego. Jim Casey.
Oh, that guy. I forgot his name. I had erased it
Who
from
is
my
that?
memory.
Jim Casey. Damn it. So I know he used to own the Red Eye Pig in Boston, and when he sold his barbecue place, he was contractually obligated not to cook barbecue for a certain amount of time. Is there a dish
Non-compete.
that you would consider being like, this is my non-compete? Like Jordan would be like, you can't make chicken wings or something.
I think if you're a smart businessman and you're buying something, you would put a non-compete in.
If you're not selling your brand. So here's the thing, like to piggyback what Karl was saying, if you decide not to sell your brand, that's up to you. But if you're including that in the business price, then you can't really have a non-compete because the part of your brand is what you were selling, right?
Right.
So I guess it's up to your lawyers, it's whatever, but if you're selling your brand too, then you have no rights to any of that stuff anymore. You're getting compensation for that. However you value it is up to you. But if I sell the Speedwell and I'm like, you can't have the name Speedwell, you can't have my chicken wing idea, blah, 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 then I just sold the building and that was it, and the business and what's in it and all that. But if I say, nope, you could buy the Speedwell as it is and you do what you want with it, then you can't say, hey, you weren't supposed to use the name Speedwell. You can't have Mango Madness wings on your menu. Like, nope, you gave that all up when you sold it. So do you sell your soul? Or,
Right.
So
here's a very important question for Karl. Karl, if you don't want us to drink all your White Claws, say something now. Okay, Karl.
All right, cool. Anybody need one?
So yeah, for our listeners, Karl had to step out. You're welcome.
Thank Farmer Dave.
This one's from Jennifer Knott. What are some phrases, mnemonic devices that you use to train new bartenders on drink recipes? I feel like this is a Dan question.
Yeah.
Examples I've heard: pineapples grow in a bay, grapefruits float in a sea, bay breeze and sea breeze.
I just used that one the other day. That's messed up.
Sex on the beach has peach. The more if you want to include rhymes, that's better apparently. Do you have any
I wish I knew all these things. I don't think I can remember the difference. What's pineapple? What's grapefruit? Sometimes there's still orange juice in there. There's the happy medium.
Do you ever? I mean, obviously, bartenders will be like, I don't really know, and just kind of fudge a drink.
Oh, for sure.
Do you ever get
fake
like
it till
a
you make
person
it.
come back and be like, this is the best Bay Breeze I've ever had?
Yep.
You'd be like, I guess there's banana schnapps in that.
I learned a long time ago that nobody knows what they drink. So as long as it kind of looks the same, no one is
long
like,
as
oh, that's
the
just
right
our house
color.
recipe. Is
Yeah.
the line to get away from everything. So
Especially with those like punchy
That's our
drinks.
take on that.
yeah. I had a famous drink. It's just a stuff in a cup.
Deconstructed Bloody Bulldog.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: a Mai Tai, a Rum Rummer, an Alabama, a Slammer—they're all the same drink.
They're all red.
You're not like, because we were talking about on the previous episode about what do you call a Bloody Mary with gin? I mean, there's multiple names for multiple drinks. I mean, I suppose you could always be like, oh, that's just how I know how to make it.
Yep.
How do you take it? Kind of thing.
I think I've told this story on this podcast before, but I had someone ask me for a skinny pirate one day, and it was super busy Friday night. I was like, all right, yeah, sure. So I ran around, I have no idea. No one knows. I looked it up in our drink book. Wasn't it? I Googled it. I was like, hey, man, I'll make that for you, but you have to tell me what it is. Like, oh, it's just a Captain and Diet. I'm like, I fucking hate you because I could have made this
just
3
say
times
Captain
by
and
now if you
Diet.
just said Captain and Diet.
Yeah.
But you had to be a dick. So.
He was at work all day. He's like, I can't wait to go to the bar tonight and use my skinny pirate joke on the fucking bartender.
I
And then
made
he
this
ran
up
into you.
in my backyard yesterday. You don't know what it is?
I hate that guy.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
Still.
Skinny pirate guy.
10 years later.
If you're listening, we hate
Go
you.
fuck yourself.
Jordan, let's take a field trip into Stats one day and just like order fucked up drinks.
We'll just make them all up, dude. We'll
Listen,
make
go
them
ahead.
all.
I'm not behind the bar to make them for
Can
you.
I have a left-handed Steve?
You got to manage the people. You got to manage us.
Yeah.
My staff will eat you alive.
Gonna order a bloody
Probably.
bulldog.
Yeah.
He'll order a Bloody Bulldog. I'll order the Red Snapper, and see what
I
we
love
get.
that this
It's
is
the
from
same thing.
the Bloody Bulldog is from the previous episode, and
Yeah.
we've broken podcast.
I said.
I feel like
it was
that
from a
rule
previous
got thrown
episode.
out the window
okay,
years
alright.
ago.
No, we're actually pretty good about that.
I don't think that's true.
No,
The other
I
thing is
think
we
it's
have
once per
enough episodes
episode.
where I think we can now consider like we have running jokes.
Yeah.
So
We're so cool.
we have listeners. Shut up. Jack Murphy. Customer service is a dying art. What do you do to change from ordinary to extraordinary?
Jesus Christ, Tony Robbins.
Yeah. All I can think of is that movie Waiting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's that little extra.
Oh, Office Space. How many pieces of flair are you
Oh,
wearing?
yeah. How many do I need to have?
So how do you ramp up your customer service? I mean, that's really what he's asking.
Hire the right people, I guess. It's the easy answer.
What do you guys do? You do, Patty.
Fake nice? I don't know.
Fake
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Fake it till you make it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't think you can. Like, if you're faking nice, I don't think you can.
Listen, right now where everyone has to wear a mask, you don't have to smile.
Do you know what's also
So
great
you
is
can-
mumbling under your
Smile.
voice is
Raise
way
your
here.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
It's the only good thing to come from that.
Like when you're walking away, you'd be like, "Fucking dumbass." Like you can't hear it as well because you can't hear people when they're talking. So it's so much nicer.
Yep.
I do like that.
I'm a big proponent of greet them at the door. Especially, you never know if someone's in your restaurant for the first time, and there's nothing more uncomfortable than going in and not knowing what to do. Like, do I sit myself? Do I, where do I
Yes.
go?
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Is there a hostess? Is there just servers? So I tell my bartenders and servers, like, even if you're busy, just make eye contact real quick and say, hey, how are you? I'll be right with you. Or like, hey, welcome to Speedwell. I don't do the whole chain restaurant, like, is this your first time here? You know what I mean? And like all that bullshit. But if you're just genuine and nice and make people feel welcome, which sounds generic, but it's not. Like, it doesn't take much. You're gonna get most of those people back. And then the more familiar you become with the clientele, like Speedwell runs mainly on regulars, the easier your job's gonna be. You know what they're gonna eat. You know you're not gonna get a weirdo unless it's Karl Heine. He keeps coming back. But that's, I mean, just be nice, just be genuine and act. And even though you might be having a hard day that day, you're tired, or maybe you're on a double or whatever, and you don't necessarily want to be there. At the end of the day, everyone's life's going to be easier if you just pretend you want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to be, I mean, because I'm in the kitchen. I'm not out, dealing with the public like you guys. I mean, bless you all for that. But I don't like walking in somewhere and you can tell, I mean, from my standpoint, I can tell when someone's having a bad day, and sometimes I feel sympathetic and I'm like, oh, that sucks. I've seen that look a lot of times before, but I also don't want to go in and just have them be like, what do you want? And I also, I don't like, cause I don't get out much. Like, let's be honest. I don't get out much when I go somewhere that has a lot of regulars, and you can tell as soon as you walk in, and it's the same. Yeah, it's true. You don't want them to kind of just like look at you quickly. It's like, all the regulars are here. That kind of makes your job easier. You don't have to maybe pay as much attention to, where they're sitting. They probably have favorite seats that they sit in. I don't, it's like, I mean, it is the little things that like, I don't know if it's like ordinary to extraordinary, but there are like little things that do make a difference.
From a customer standpoint, if you, and this is so difficult because it's against human nature, but to not favor your, it's so like difficult.
I get what you're
not favor your regulars to the point where you're ignoring new customers.
Exactly.
Because then you drive away new regulars.
Yeah, don't make it too clicky either.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you've earned those regulars, and they're gonna probably tip you really well, and they have the easy ones and the fun ones to wait on. But don't forget that every new person that walks through the door could be a future regular.
Right.
Oh, exactly.
And
Man, I sound like a chain restaurant fucking guy right now.
But I feel like the regulars are a little more lenient too.
They
Where they're
are,
like,
yeah.
oh,
You would think that.
Dan was having a really hard night tonight. I'll cut him some. I'm not going to fucking tip him, but I'll. But I mean, I've been to places where you're like, my drink's been empty for like 15 minutes, and she's been talking to that guy for like 20 minutes. Like, just even like give me a like, hey, you all set over there? Like,
That's part of making someone feel welcome.
Yeah.
Even though they're not part of the clique, you got to make them feel like they can be or are. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
that
Yep.
particular moment, like they're just as important. There's something that you, Patty and Jess both do too, is you guys come out and say hello. So like you might be in the back doing stuff, Patty, or I know Jess, when you worked here at New World, I'd come in when I was new to town and you'd get a rush and you'd see everybody in the dining room was eating, and instead of her going and prepping, she'd take 10 minutes to come out and touch the tables and say, hey, how was everything? And and that's huge. I love it when cooks, chefs, owners do that. Go out and touch the tables, just even from the regular that you're gonna have a regular conversation with to the new person's like, wow, I'm talking to the person that just prepared my meal. That's rad. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I was down in Connecticut. The place isn't there anymore. I can't. It was something like Bad Baby Burger or something like that. Fucking amazing burger. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I know.
It was a very
A little nervous.
Yeah, it was a cool place, but amazing.
Everyone's wearing
burgers.
leather. Like,
I think,
Uh,
they make burgers.
And I wish I could remember the name. It's not that. Don't Google that because I don't know what's going to come up. But
It's Andy's face.
my buddy like had a burger, and as like the waitress is walking by, he's like, I think I need a minute alone with this burger, and he heard the waitress laugh. And he's like, oh, she was supposed to hear that. And like then the owner / chef comes out. And he's like, I hear someone needs a minute alone with the burger. Like that was huge,
Right.
You know, like someone gave you a compliment, you take the time to come out and thank them, and you know,
Right. And chefs and cooks are fucking busy, dude.
Yeah.
So like for them to be like, oh god, I just got through that rush. Now I have to make sure my salad unit's stocked and this and that, and I gotta make sure my produce order's in for tomorrow. But you know what? Taking that 5-10 minutes to go out, and it's good for the chef, I think too. You hear direct from your consumer,
Yeah.
like, hey, you did a good job today. Like,
And I mean,
it's a nice
it
little
was so
attaboy, too.
huge. That's why I know they closed, because the next time I went to Hartford, I'm like, we're going back to that place.
Hell yeah.
And unfortunately, they weren't there. So,
That's done.
which is why I don't remember the name of the place.
Bad Baby Burger.
Something. Sure.
Let's
Yeah.
talk. Maybe we can open up a
All
bad
right,
baby burger.
bad baby burger.
Yeah.
We make Andy into a baby on the.
How to sink a restaurant in 2 weeks.
I'm on the sidewalk in a diaper and a burger.
Like Barney from The Simpsons,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, oh, that's good stuff.
Oh boy, let's not ever do that.
Got Andy's Halloween costume.
Try not to close my eyes in fear of picturing.
All right,
No offense.
Kim Perry. Let's change the subject. I'm not sure what to do and could use some advice. I have worked on.
Came to the right
Very
place.
I know. There's more to it. That's not
Welcome
the
to
whole
my world.
Jesus Christ, Karl. Let me finish. I've worked one shift since we reopened on June 16th. I'm not being scheduled or allowed to pick up any shifts. However, they're giving the shifts that I am trying to pick up to someone doing a double. I've asked more than once to either be scheduled or to have conversations if I'm doing something wrong. No response from management. Is becoming clear to me that they're trying to get me out, trying to get me to quit so they don't have to pay unemployment. My fiance was advising me to take this to the labor board. What would I do? What
I was
should
going
do?
to say, what did you do?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
immediately
I mean-
my response is this: take a hard look at yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're a solid employee, they're not going to want to lose you.
That's the age-old tactic, though.
Yeah.
Just
It is.
cut the hours
Yeah.
so
Yep,
that so you don't have to
exactly.
pay.
Yep.
I mean, it could be that it's just not a good fit. I mean, unless there's somebody that's being super unprofessional and has some sort of vendetta, but if you're not getting a response from management, first of all, I think it's pretty unprofessional for management not to respond to that.
Nailed
Yeah,
it.
especially if you're like, I want to have a conversation and
Yeah.
tell me if I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're reaching out and saying, like, what am I doing wrong? But, I mean, did you already do so many things wrong that there's no recovery? Or, I mean, is it just, I mean, sometimes it happens, it's just not the right fit. It's not the right place for, the
You don't have to
employee.
be so PC. Sometimes employees suck. Too.
Sometimes they do suck, but I don't want to, I don't want to assume that this person sucks at their job.
You can cut out the part where she says assume and just make it say that they suck. At their job. Yeah, right? All right.
No, but really, like, are you showing up on time? Are you pulling your weight? Are you, I'm assuming front of the house as a bartender. Are
Yeah.
are your drinks good? Are you
Are
treating?
you unpleasant to work with?
Are
That's
you
a
unpleasant
huge
to
thing.
work with?
Yeah.
Are you being a diva and saying, like, I can't work this day, and this day? I mean, those are things that make an employer not want to have you on.
Or to kind of like spin off of that, are you like new, say within a couple months, and be
Yeah.
like, well, I can only work Friday and Saturday nights on the bar.
Right.
Where
right.
the guy who's been there 6 years is like, bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
it is weird that there are people that are pulling doubles, and it's like, I would, as a manager, I would want to give those people some relief, because I know almost everywhere has been shorthanded. So yeah, there's something going on there. I don't know if it would be worth it to take it to the labor board. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like that.
Yeah, if
I
you
don't
Put a
know.
black stain on you and whole employment history by doing that too, because like we said earlier, word gets around.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those whistleblower people, like restaurant industry is really loosey
Yeah.
goosey, man. Like we try to be as professional as possible.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I mean, and is it really just that? I mean, I feel like we're kind of just hearing one side of the story, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, especially now, I think the labor board is probably just as overwhelmed with everything. It might be just better to just cut your losses and find somewhere else to work. That's,
Yep.
more beneficial.
Like, do you wash
And-
dishes? Will you move to Mirabeau?
Come wash dishes at Mirabeau.
It is up to the, and you said this early on, Jess, like it's also super unprofessional for management to not communicate with their staff. If someone's not performing at Speedwell, it's so much harder for me to have to go out and get a new employee. Wouldn't you rather sit down with that person and be like, hey, listen, you got to fix this?
We hired them for a reason.
You
So
hired-
had to have seen something in them to
Yeah, and
at least think they were worth.
on the other side of that too, though, is that can also be hard, because then that might spark a conversation in which they might feel like they're being personally attacked when you're just trying to constructively, critique them, and then they quit. So it's
Right.
kind of like, I don't know, I guess you have to read them on an individual basis. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm not perfect. There have been people where it's like some of their concerns have been a little bit backburnered when we've been kind of crazy, but I do try to, at least show some interest and initiative in saying, like, all right, let's sit down and talk about this, or like, when's a good time for you, or today is just a really terrible day. But it sounds like she's not even getting that.
No. No, they might have already cut, they might want her to quit.
Yeah.
So look for a new job.
Cut your losses.
I wouldn't waste your time with the labor board. That just sounds like more work than you're gonna.
More work than it's
It's like
worth.
what's really gonna happen.
Now you have to, not only do you have to show up and work every day, but now you got to earn all this respect back and trust back.
Best case scenario, you have burnt a bridge with the place you're now getting a double shift at. That just sounds like a terrible idea.
Right.
Ted Link, curious to know. All right, so let's just bear in mind that we don't call out individual people or places. Curious to know how prevalent the illegal speakeasy has become in everyone's respective cities. Memphis has a couple, and while I'm all about service folks making money however we can during this, I'm torn because I take the virus seriously. I also know a couple of bartenders quietly keeping their bars open past curfew without ownership's knowledge.
Ooh, that's
So have we, what have we heard? I mean, Jordan already talked about the communal fraud. No, was that on this episode?
The what?
The communal frauds? That was last episode. Can you explain the communal frauds that I just brought up? And I
I go to or a friend of mine goes to a bar that I'm a big fan of.
Oh, the bar or the friends?
They're following the rules as much as possible, but of course, different places have different dynamics, and these rules are a lot harder, I think, on some of these smaller bars, bar snack, sports bar style places. So they have their ways of adapting and kind of bending the rules, just like everyone else bends the rules too. The government's going to bend the rules their entire life. You politicians bend the rules. This is your livelihood, and this is something you worked really hard for. So while I'm not condoning anything that's going to make the virus a risk, I see no issue in walking into a bar that serves food, not forcing you to spend a certain amount of food. If they're going to put a small basket of fries in front of you, and on them, technically that's, to preface, you have to eat in order to drink at a bar in Massachusetts. If they're going to put a basket of fries on my table in front of me, and I was going to sit there drinking either way, following the rules, I'm wearing my mask, they're sanitizing, all that, I don't see the issue. Staying open late, that is jeopardizing the owner's liquor license. And now,
without the owner's
knowledge, I mean, you might be making that owner some money, but the long-term effects of that, if the ABCC, Alcohol Beverage Control Commission, comes down and sees that, now that restaurant either gets fined or closed or suspended. And that's just not worth it. That's really short-sighted. So just be careful. Yeah, we can get cute here and there. And I don't think there's any issue with that. I think these are times of survival. But think about who you're jeopardizing, health-wise, financially. Don't be a dick, I guess. You know what I mean?
Goes all facets of life right there.
That's
Don't
It's
be a
the golden
dick.
rule.
generally
Don't
good
be a dick.
advice. Yeah.
What about you, Jess and Pat? Have you experienced any speakeasy, really blatant disregard for the rules?
I personally haven't seen it. I'm not surprised that it's happening. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I might not be opposed to going to a speakeasy. I mean, I'm assuming that these places are still, even though they're kind of operating under the radar, I'm assuming that they're still sanitizing and hopefully socially distancing and having people wear masks. I feel like there are still a lot of places that haven't opened full steam, and there are a lot of people that are out of work. And it's like, if you've got the time, I mean, I don't know, as far as the legality of it, but I mean, some really cool things have been born out of those under the radar places. And,
Hell yeah.
But as Jordan pointed out, like it's about survival.
And that's such the fine line. Is like I
Yeah.
expect people to work as hard and do whatever they have to keep their business open. And I mean, we've talked about the food rule endlessly. It's really to keep the places masquerading that shouldn't be open. So if someone's loosey-goosey with it, I don't really see a problem with that, because it's more, are you a restaurant or are you a bar?
They don't want
Trying.
nightclubs. They're
Yeah.
trying to avoid that nightclub, people standing up, walking around with drinks, getting inebriated, letting their guard down. And I get
Yeah.
that. And food creates an atmosphere that is not a nightclub atmosphere.
Right.
Just having to sit at a table and have a plate or a basket of food in front of you, I get that. But I do think there is a lot of gray area there, and it's a little unfair to some of the places that aren't necessarily nightclubs, more of those speakeasy dive bar style places that have their regulars and have this and have that. And like I said, you can get a little cute. Please get cute, because I would rather see a place get cute than close. To be
Yep.
honest,
Yeah.
but just do it the right way.
Yeah,
sanitize, wear masks.
You
socially
can
distance.
Don't be a
Don't stay open
be a dick.
after hours without your owner's consent
Yeah.
or
Correct.
knowledge.
That's fucked up.
You can
that's
put a toe over the
not
line,
good.
but it's the people that proudly march across the line.
And we've had that, and there's places, and I won't name them, but there are places that have done that. I know of places that haven't closed.
Yeah.
one day since this has started.
It's not even a restaurant, but there's a place in town that I flat out ratted out to the Board of Health.
Yeah, right, because they're jeopardizing all of us.
No one was wearing masks. No one was even trying to wear masks. There was no social distancing.
Oh.
And I've seen what Jordan has done. I've seen what Karl has done. My friend Tracy, who owns Seeley's hair salon. All these efforts, all these hoops they've jumped through, and just to see someone to be like, I can't spend $5 on a mask. Fuck you.
Yep.
And then they're going to spike. So then all of a sudden we have a COVID outbreak in town, and
Yeah.
now all the restaurants get put back in timeout because you wanted to make a couple extra bucks.
And this is also someone who was deemed essential, so never had to close.
Right.
So I just had no tolerance for that, and I had no problem picking up the phone. Actually, I just sent a text message to someone and been like, "Hey, man, can you look into this?" And
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate
because
that.
it just because I can say Karl worked hard. He's not here. Just to see all the work that you guys have done to like make everyone safe, it really went up my ass the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got people doing it the right way, and then
Yep.
you got people doing it the wrong way.
Ruin it for everybody.
Yep.
I'll tell you guys where off mic. So you cannot frequent there as
I'm
well.
very
which
intrigued.
I don't
now.
think they
I
were.
know.
I don't think you guys are going there, but I'll let you know.
Interesting.
So I believe that's last call. We're going to go around and we can plug whatever we want to plug. And this is the moment to shine. And we'll start again with Dan Mahoney.
I'll go with the theme of today, and don't be a dick. Wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe.
Correct. We will get through this.
Yep.
And don't forget to vote in November, please.
Yes.
That's a
I
good
don't
one.
care who you're voting for. I kind of do, but I won't say that because we are a
We're not
nonpartisan podcast.
We're not a non-profit party.
But get out and vote. This is the most important election of my lifetime, and I don't know how if you're not as old as Karl, there was a couple other ones, but get out and vote.
I don't know.
please.
Did they have to vote for George Washington? Or
No,
was
they
he,
did they
appointed?
pick matchsticks out of a 10-gallon hat and
Feathers out of a cap.
Yeah, well, they still do the Iowa caucus, don't they? Freaking unbelievable. But yes, please get out and vote in November.
Thanks for my last call, Jordan.
Just don't jeopardize anything for anybody. We put it in like 80, 90 hours a week to just survive. So just be nice, be caring, don't be entitled. That's all.
Respect.
Nice. Jess?
I'm gonna echo everybody else's sentiments. We're all having a really hard year. From the person with the most menial appearing job to CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. Nobody's more special. Everybody needs to do their part to kind of hold be the glue that holds everyone together. None of us are gonna get through this without it takes a village. So yeah, take care of each other, be patient, be courteous, be compassionate, and tip your servers and bartenders, please.
Yes.
How the hell is Andy gonna follow up?
I know, right? Like, is you guys going around the table being like,
That's what you got for putting yourself last.
I know.
He's like, I'm gonna buy myself some time for my last call.
so because all these people are our special people and are too gracious to plug themselves, if you were in South Boston, go to Stats, get a drink,
Oh, you
say hi
son
to
of a
Dan.
bitch. How does he do it?
Go to Speedwell. The fucking egg rolls are off the charts. The
Thank
wings are great. Is the Mac Burger going to be on the menu
For a
permanently?
long time.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so good.
Yes, thank you.
Go to Kogi, Bim and Bop. You can't get the Stone Bowl to go, but it's one of the best things in town. I
Best
love
wings,
it.
too.
I would like to tell you. I would like to tell you how her other food is, but the Bim and Bop is so good that every time I go there, I just get the Bim and Bop. And Mirabeau, I have not been.
Oh, you're
because
crazy.
I'm not a spa person. But
You don't
don't have to be.
I have eaten at Jess Childers restaurants before, and she's an amazing chef. So
She is.
go down and get a pedicure and something to eat. And
Well, you don't even have to get a pedicure. You can just come on in.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, you're down there, get a pedicure.
Oh, sure, why not? Yeah.
Massage or something.
Yeah.
I went there
Treat
for my
yourself.
first anniversary with my wife, and it was like the best freaking experience.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I actually got a pedicure. I was wicked uncomfortable about it, but it was like a package, so I had to.
Yeah.
And I can't get a manicure because I'm a nail biter. I don't bite my
I don't like
toenails.
people like poking at me.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ended up being pretty rad. It was
Yeah.
like the first time my toenails weren't yellow for like fucking 10 years. So
And because-
working kitchens, you know.
And because Jordan is so ungrateful that he never thanks Fish. Thanks, Fish, for editing.
I always thank Fish. I get yelled at for it every time.
I know, but I feel like
I kicked his ass in the first round of fantasy baseball too.
Nice.
Sorry, bud.
So
No.
thanks for listening. You can write in with your questions, complaints, praise to our friends here at bartalkcast@gmail.com. We're on all social medias at bartalkcast, and check us out next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebriart or on Instagram at Inebriart6. You can email us at inebriart@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebriart Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.